You're live.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back after, I think, a 2-week hiatus to Talking Chickens. This is episode number 25 with M&M Exhibition Poultry, Mike and Matt. And today our special guest is our longtime friend. I know we say that a lot, but we actually do have friends. Evidently, we'll have 30 or 40 and you'll see every one we have. On here, Danny Padgett. Danny's master breeder of, good Lord, all kinds of big heavy ducks and has had Cornish and Old English and you name it in his life in the poultry. He's had everything. So we're real happy to have Danny here. He's an APA, ABA general license judge. Maybe we'll get into that story before we get started, but one question I want to ask Danny, then we'll go through our normal things. Are you the longest living of the old? I don't know how to put this. Have you been had your APA license longer than everybody else that's alive, or pretty damn close, isn't it?
It's pretty close. I've had my ABA one. I got it when I was actually 17.
That's what I thought.
So
yeah, that was a little different time back then, because I know I was 18 when I was okay to take it, but we've been down that road, and I've told that story. So yeah, back then you could be younger, and just so you knew what the hell you were doing, they turned you loose. And there's a few people that I don't know if they did know what they were doing, but we turned them loose too. So anyway,
that's because when you was 18, you could get your ass shot off.
Yes, you could get your ass shot off. You could do all kinds of things then, and now evidently, well, yeah. Okay, so we're sponsored, as always, by Rozier's Poultry Supply. Go to www.rozierpoultrysupplies.com. I was just in Highland, Illinois this past weekend, and a nice, cool 95 degrees judging. With Caitlin and Tim and everybody, Tim and Kim. They have all kinds of stuff, folks. I'm telling you, if you're looking for anything, they got it. As Danny well knows, because I kept thinking, what the hell are they doing clear here in Florida in January? And as they took one trailer back completely empty and drug the other one home, I thought, well, I guess that's a good reason to go. But they've been around and they're doing great things. They have their full supply now of APA standards and ABA standards. We made sure of that this weekend. In the past 2 weeks, Maddie and I have been globetrotters. We went from his house. I went from here to his house to Canada. What's the name of that little town, Matt?
Grimsby,
Canada, for the Niagara Fall Fair. We judged there on Saturday morning, had a great time, got out of there, went across the border, went to Bath, picked up all the APA standards from Becky and Bath, and then and some stuff for the Canadian National for them, the Bantam National. So we got that, stayed all night, and because of course we don't get to talk enough, we went back on Sunday morning and thought we'd be out of there about 8:30. A little after 10:30, we left there, went to Dustin Drake's, unloaded all the APA standards to Dustin, because he was going over to Highland, Illinois before us. So he got those there. Take a tour of all the great and new and exciting things that are happening at his place, toured his chickens, went to Matt's, put ABA stuff in my car. I come home, and then all that stuff was still in my car. And then Monday morning, Matt got up and decided it's time to go back to Pennsylvania. He went to Pennsylvania, and for Pennsylvania, because it's so close, he went to New Jersey, picked up all the ABA standards. I got that right? Yeah. Pick up the ABA standards, brought it back home.
All the Roziers, and then I picked up the ones for Columbus, and then some yearbooks that we're going to try to peddle. And so we did 2,800 miles in 2 weeks.
Yep. So then on Friday morning, he gets home Thursday. Friday morning, bright and early, Paul Monte shows up at my house. That's scary. Shows up at my house. We drive to Matt's, pick up everything else that goes to Highland, and went to Highland, Illinois, and I got home at 1:30 on Sunday morning, and I think Paul said he got home at 4:30. So, yeah, we've been running. And then today it was chicken washing day. The life of the big celebrities, huh?
Mhm.
Anyway, Matt, you got anything else to add before we get
No,
going? Remember,
really.
like,
think
subscribe, and share. Go
I
ahead.
think we covered most of it the last time. The yearbooks are out. They'll be mailed anytime. Though they're probably in the mail. But they did post the link. I did too. I shared it in the M&M page of the digital version. So the yearbook's actually online now. So for our foreign members, we can't afford to ship. So that's online. And then we put it online for everybody. So you can go look at, you kind of get a double bump for your ad money. You get the online version and the printed version. So that's really all I got.
All right. And, but one other thing before we get going, Matt and I finally did something today we said we've been going to do. So when we washed birds, we filmed it and explained it and walked you through everything. That will probably be out hopefully by the end of the week or over the weekend. We have to put it together. It's not as simple as doing this because you're in a metal barn and you can't go live and you can't do this kind of stuff there. So we got that. You'll be seeing it up on the YouTube channel and on Spotify and on the M&M page just as soon as we can. Maybe we'll release some shorts beforehand because I have them on a separate device. So that's what the exciting stuff. Now back to why we're here, Mr. Padgett. Good to see you. How are things in chilly Florida?
Quite chilly. We actually were 59 degrees this morning.
Holy moly!
Oh, that is
Bet
chilly.
that felt good. Yeah, bet that felt good, didn't it?
It did. Of course, then this afternoon it was 89. So
Yeah. Okay, Danny. So we covered back when you got your license. Kind of tell us about your background, how you really got interested. Just kind of get us up to date. Just fill some time and tell the people who you are and maybe the why. Everybody asks the why. Why do you do this? And there you go.
Well, I followed in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess, because he had large fowl Cornish, had them. He started with them in 1922. So we've had Cornish in the family for over 100 years.
Wow, that's cool.
I first met Danny. He was known for his Rowan ducks. You remember those days?
Yeah.
He showed a lot of Rowans in those days. I had them, and Dick Hortzman had them at one time, and pretty good classes.
Yeah, one year I raised, I think, 1,200 down here.
Jesus.
Lord,
Yes,
that was a feat.
Wow.
Of course, I always tell everybody the Rowans ain't less than the runners. The Rowans at least would range some. The runners, they just went to the feed dish and shovel it in.
That's it. Just kept shoveling.
Yep. And then now you're rating the shit out of any other duck that's in there.
Yep.
So what color Cornish did your grandpa have? I know you've got an affinity and have raised some outstanding white laced reds in your career. Was he a white laced red or was he a dark or?
He was darks and white lace reds is what he had.
Large fowl, Danny? Were they all large?
Yeah.
Which are almost extinct now.
Just about. I mean, he traded birds back and forth with all the people that were big and were importing birds from England at the time. And my grandmother used to tell a story that some of the guys out of the Carolinas that were importing at the time, they sent him a male bird down that because they figured he would get something out of them before they could, a little earlier in the season. And she said that was the only chicken that ever came into the house every night because was afraid something might happen to it, so he brought it in the house every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something.
I imagine back then, I mean, I know what it would, well, it's exorbitant to try to import now, but I mean, back then, whatever it cost, that was a lot of money for then.
Well, I mean, I think that bird, because I got some literature where they corresponded, they paid like $250, $300 for the bird, and then had it shipped over, and this was in the 30s.
Yeah. That's
Oh, my Lord. That's thousands now.
Yeah.
That's thousands. Yeah, I'd have brought him in the house. I probably would have said, "You're on your own. I don't want the responsibility of that bastard." But good deal, good deal. And you still have? Do you have 2 or 3 colors, Danny?
I've got all 3. I got darks, whites, and white lace red and large fowl.
Okay, and then you got the white lace reds and bantams.
Yeah.
All right.
Both of them and downs. And
what all do you have?
Everybody
ahead,
wants
Eddie.
to know about Muscovy ducks.
Yeah,
That's one of our. So we had to get Danny on here to talk about Muscovy ducks.
meat ducks.
Meat ducks. Hissing ducks. Them damn hissing ducks. So what's that story, Danny?
Well, I started with them. Dave Holderreed had some, and he and I were trading birds back and forth at the time. And I said I wanted to try them just because I had all the other heavy ducks, so I was just trying different things. And so he said, okay. So he sent me a few ducklings, and that's where it started from. That was in, I think, 86.
Still got him and still going strong.
I don't know if Dave has much of anything anymore or not. I haven't heard about him in a long time.
I think he's pretty well gotten rid of everything, but that's when he was really going strong at that time period. And we were swapping runners and ruins and different things back and forth, and some geese back and forth. And
that was
Good
the
deal.
start.
Yep.
And now Muscovies are everywhere.
Yep. Now I think just about anybody that's got any that's showing that somewhere along the way they came from here.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Do you just have the blacks, Danny, or do you still dabble in the whites and other things?
I've got blacks and blues and whites and silvers, and then a few other non-recognized colors that we're playing with a little bit.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, so now since we're on Muscovies, what's the most important? Well, I'm not going to ask about the judging part of Muscovies, but as far as raising them, your birds are in exceptional condition all the time, and your birds are very, very big. Besides the genetics and the selection that you have done over the years to get them to the state, what about the raising of them? What do you do that a lot of people either won't do or can't do in your mind?
I don't feel that I do anything different than what anybody else could do. I mean, I raise a lot of numbers. In the years when I was really showing them strong, I was raising 500 or 600 a year with the blacks and blues.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of Muscovies.
And I mean, I didn't breed out of anything until it was 2 years old. I wanted to see how they developed and how they filled out that, because they changed so much from yearlings to
Right.
2-year-old. So I was holding over 25 to 40 males and probably 50 or 75 females in each color from young birds, each year
Mm-hmm.
to pick out breeders for the next year.
Wow. Wow. That's
a lot of ducks.
Muscovies. Yeah. That reminds me of back when I used to talk to Matt, when we used to talk to Ed Miller, he never. I mean, he wouldn't. Well, he did at the end because they had to. What nothing else was fertile, and I was helping him out. But I mean, he bred from hens. 2 and 3 year old hens are older. The same for cockbirds. Maybe that's why the livability were so good in them. I mean, they lived forever. It seemed like
it makes a difference on a lot of the stuff. You keep breeding from the younger and the younger ones, and they don't seem to keep any livability to them, you know.
Right. And they don't lay as long. I mean, the hens. I mean, most hens by 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, it's like they don't lay anymore. A lot of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, even like going with the big corners. I mean, we were keeping hens that were 5, 6, 7 years old. You might not get a whole lot of eggs out of them, but if you kept them that long, the few that you got were worth getting something out of, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah, because they proved themselves. That's why, and they put that in the chick as far as, and it's a bigger egg.
Right.
A nice
you get a bigger egg, you get a little bit bigger chick or duckling, either one.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's something that I don't know if it's that's went by the wayside for most people. They don't want to keep the numbers. They can't keep the numbers. I mean, when Matt told everybody that, we'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 white coach and bantam cockbirds, they look at you like, you got 2 heads.
Well, I mean, I had somebody call me to cull through their Muscovies for the wintertime, and I said, well, how many did you raise? Well, I raised 8. I said, well, I can't help you too much there.
Yeah.
Better keep them all.
Yeah.
Maybe 800, we can get you down to 200. Cool.
I mean, the only way you can improve anything is to raise numbers.
Yeah. Be selective, because you never know what's going to come out of there.
I'll preface that. Raise numbers from quality birds. So right. I've seen some folks raise some numbers, but they're not.
What you started with has got to be something there too.
Yeah,
right.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, you can't shotgun approach. Just raising a bunch is going to help you, but I think you got to raise them from your as many as you can get from the best you got, I guess is the correct saying. I think I lost him.
He did. I was worried about that because just keep recording.
It was a flashing. We will try to get. I was getting a little cam there.
So, folks, we were hopefully we'll get Danny back. It's an honor to have Danny on here, because if you don't know Danny, that's probably more than you'll hear Danny speak in 2 or 3 days worth of knowing Danny. He doesn't talk a whole lot, so it's a good deal. I think Norma's there with him to help get him back online. So we had we got some stuff done today. I think it's going to be really good when we get it out. I'll just kind of fill. What do you think? It was kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, we got the whole wishing process, which a lot of people were asking for, and we did. I think we got everything down, the whole deal, what we do. So I'm anxious to see it when it's all put together, because it's kind of hard to do it and film it. So we did get that part done.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, we were pretty much it's in focus and other stuff, but you just have to take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But I think there's a lot of really good information. I don't know if what we do will work for you, but it sure the hell does work for us. So you could probably take some things from there and adjust it to your own breed as far as what you're doing and how you drive. You got him back?
Yeah. Hi, Miss Norma.
Hi, Norma. Bye, Norma.
We're getting some. Hey, Norma. Before you go, we're getting some strobing on his camera.
Flashing on y'all too.
What's that? Yeah, it's flashing. Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I thought I was having a 70s flashback myself, but at least I know it's not me, just me.
I don't know what this thing's doing. We'll try it for a minute or two.
Yeah,
we
we
can
keep
see you
going.
every once in a while. You come through there, so
Yeah, we can hear you. So until it goes all the way goodbye, we can hear you. So that's a good deal. Matt, what else you got?
Oh, I was going to say, Danny, you guys have traveled because I see on the
He's
road
gone.
a lot. He's gone.
This is what it's like, folks. This is like life. Shit happens. You just got to roll on.
Yeah, Danny and Norma travel all over the United States. They
Yes.
drive clear up to the Congress, clear out to Oklahoma. They've been out to California, so they put lots of miles in hauling those Muscovies and Cornish all around. So,
Yeah, hopefully.
where was it? Talk about Washington. Getting ready for our show, first show of the spring that we get to show at, or fall. Lord, it'll be fall next week, Monday.
Yeah.
Boone City. So they've got 1,300 birds, I believe, entered.
I think so.
And they're in a different building this year. So anybody going to Moon City, they're more up in the front of the fairgrounds by the grandstands. So I want to make sure you get to the right spot, because when old Matt went down to help set up, he was sitting there. And I thought, well, where are they? So I decided to take a little drive, and I found them.
Incoming voice call from Kim Mundy.
Oops, I had an incoming call, so I have to call her back.
Miss
Miss Kim, there's Danny again. All right, we're going to add him on. There we go.
Hi, Norma.
We got you back. Oops, hang on here.
Can you hear us, Danny?
Got your mic muted. I think your sound's muted, Danny.
Norma, come fix the sound.
Oh, there we got him. Can you hear us?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
All right. Anyway,
That's Moon City. So it looks like a big show. Lots of waterfowl. She had, I think, 90 goose coops set up, and they were full, and lots of large ducks and lots of call ducks, and so it looks like it'll be a good time. We're gonna have an ABA table there and sell some standards. Kim Munden's coming down to help us with the ABA table. We'll have some old yearbooks there to sell, and that'll be our day, I guess.
Yeah.
We always have a nice dinner there they fix at the show, so be good to get out. Then I got a week off, and then we go to Greenville.
Yeah, I got a week off too. And that's Greenville. Then that's kind of the dam breaking, I guess, at Greenville. So
yeah, then it's out every weekend. I actually have a pigeon show in between Dayton and Greenville, so up in Montpelier, Ohio. So I'll be up there.
I won't be.
Friedel and the Superior Pigeon Clubs having their young bird show. So
you showing?
Yeah, I'm showing some. So Norma's trying to get the laptop up, so we'll talk. I'm showing some doves and some Chinese owls. So we won champion a show with chickens and pigeons, and I never won one with a dove. So that's my next goal. Raise ringneck doves and tangerine pied. And I got 4 young ones that I raised this year. I got to take them up because they're I'm trying to think of her name. Lordy. That's what happens when you get old.
I've never had tangerine pie.
Oh, tangerine pied. Pied.
Pied. Okay. I was hungry
pied
there
with
for
a
a minute.
D on it. It's like pied, like spotted. I actually have some tangerine laced even. Janice Montgomery from up there at Montpelier is a big dove lady and friend of mine. So she got me fixed up with a few, and Daniel McDaniels. And so this is the first foray in dove raising. I kind of, like you said, it just make me smile. So I like to go out and watch them and hear them. And
Yep.
They're pretty low maintenance.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, I think it's. I'm not going anywhere. Well, I don't have any plans to go anywhere.
Yeah.
In
Need the
between
rest
the
a
two.
week.
Yeah, and then because after that, it's after Greenville. I think we got a week. No, we don't have a week off. Did we get a? We get a to Beaver Dam.
Yeah, it's the next week after Greenville.
Yeah. Then we go to Beaver Dam, and then the weekend after that.
Great state of Wisconsin, way up there, I think.
Yeah. We go up there, and then we go somewhere else, and then
Yeah.
then it's off to Fayetteville.
Yeah, then it's off to the APA National. So we're going to have Jacob Bates on here and talk about their show at the Pauline Whitaker Center at the University of Arkansas. Nice facility, nice show hall.
Yep. And we'll have on about that same week. We'll have on Jim Anderson from his San Diego show, and we'll have him on because we're going to discuss not only his show, which I'm going to be judging at, but we're also going to discuss the Breeders' Cup because, like me, Jim is a longtime thoroughbred horseman too, and he's still there. He's still working and still has the horses that and works Del Mar, Los Alamitos, Santa Anita. So it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have him on, and we may have, if any of you care, and if you know, when you hear if he's available, when you hear the Kentucky Derby or the Preakness or the Belmont, or you watch the Breeders' Cup on TV, that guy calling him, that's Larry Colmus. And if Larry's available, Larry's going to stop in for a few minutes and maybe give him his impressions of the upcoming Breeders' Cup, which will be on the same weekend as Fayetteville. That is we like to say world championship of horse racing, but of course, North America is the world, evidently. So, but it's our richest day of racing. So it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of money wagered and given away to the purses. So a lot of the best horses in the world come here. So for this races, and it's in Del Mar, California, and then I think it's either 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks after that, I'll be in Del Mar. The chicken show is just outside San Diego, and we're going out and have a little vacation, and we're going to go to Del Mar on Friday, and I get to judge chickens on Saturday. And to this boy, there ain't much better than being able to go to the racetrack and have chickens the next day. So that's two of my favorite things in the world to do. So I get to do them both. Blessed. Nowhere else. I don't care what's happening in the world, baby. You can complain all you want. There ain't no place like the place we live. With all of its warts, there's no place I'd rather be than right here in the United States. So, we getting him back, or what are we doing, Maddie?
She was having. I see her, but I don't.
It was good seeing everybody at Highland. I thank you for the compliments. Talking about this show on the podcast and how much you get out of it, and we really appreciate it. I'm floored every time a lot of people I don't know tell
That's
me.
Danny up there.
I see a little G over here on my
Yeah, that's a little circle.
little circle. Danny's got a lot smaller. How little his head is.
Oh well, I guess we'll.
Otherwise,
I
we'll
was
just
gonna go ahead, go through my list here of what we had coming up because I
do it.
had to make one because I couldn't remember them all, of course. Yeah, I don't see his picture yet. So I've got Neil Mahaffey. Danny was today. Neil, I think we're going to try to do Thursday.
Yeah, Danny may have to be another time if this doesn't work out, but we'll try. We'll still put this up, whatever. We got Neil. We got. You're back to Danny.
send her another invite and see if.
All right. Yeah. Tell her to close shit out and redo the invite. That might help. Anyway, all the great things that people are suggesting we're trying to get done, and we'll slowly get them done. But we know what a lot of people would like to see. And as it arises, those things arise, then we'll go ahead and we'll do them, even if it's just Matt and I giving our opinions. Sometimes that's really scary. But, hey, we got them on all that stuff. So we have good guests. Any other guests you want to see, let me know or let Matt know, and we'll try our best to get them on. Like I say,
a new link, so hopefully that'll get it.
Okay.
The other ones that we had there, I see her, but I don't. Their camera's not working. I don't think. Okay, Norma, we can see you there, but your camera and your mic's not connected.
Nothing will go wrong.
But Dennis Myers coming on. It'll be a good one. I think we had Stephanie Coomer, so she's one of Mike's proteges in Big Black Coachings. Jacob Bates, like I said, we're going to be on to talk about the Arkansas and another Muscovy duck guy. Leghorns, Red Bantams. Dan Karasek for Cornish. He runs a Cornish seminar and a call duck seminar. A friend of ours, and him and his brother and his son for years. Two new ones we picked up at Bath. We talked to Ken and April McKisson. We're going to have them both on separately. Ken's big in call ducks and April both, and then they have chickens, and they're really big with the juniors. So we wanted to get them on again. Nate Reinish was coming back on to talk heavy geese.
Yep.
And Karen Unrath from the ABA is going to come on and talk about the ABA as soon as we can get her where she's not swamped. And then you said we're going to get Jim Anderson on.
Yep.
And then let me see if she messaged me back here. The topics. So we had questions because we do listen to the feedback you give us, and we did get a lot of it from all the places we've been, even in Canada. A lot of people up there are watching it. So they want to know about buff breeding. So we're working on maybe getting Tom Roebuck to come on and talk a little bit about that. Mike and I have done some buff breeding, so we think we can wing that one for you. Conditioning. Somebody wanted us to do a show on conditioning. Can't get it to connect. They can't seem to get on. So
all right. Well, tell him we'll try again. Let's get another day. We'll just fill out this time and talk to folks, and we can reschedule when Norma's ready.
Yep, that's what I messaged her.
All right. So, yeah.
Muscovies, heavy geese, turkeys, and washing and show prep. So the washing and show prep you'll pretty much get with the videos Mike took today. And then as we go to the show Friday and coop in, we'll probably do a little short. And then what we do on Saturday morning before we get ready to be judged, we'll probably run a little short session there.
Right. Yeah. I'm kind of torn whether to hold on to this washing thing until we get back this weekend. Maybe have Bride get everything edited together and then not put it out. We can add that to it. And so it'll be kind of more of a composite. We'll have shorts,
Yeah, the little clips are good. They come through YouTube. So little bits of the podcast.
Yeah, he cuts all them up. That we get a lot of views on those. And most of those views and stuff aren't from subscribers that we have, or a lot of people we don't even know. That's a good thing. Go ahead.
I think I sent you the podcast stats for Spotify. Our Spotify really jumped up last month, and I was amazed that the Dan Castle podcast over 3,000 plays.
Yes.
So we get a lot on Facebook because we got a lot of followers on Facebook. So I kind of expect that. But Spotify and YouTube were kind of building, and the Spotify thing is really taken off. I see him again.
And the YouTube, I think Dan's one of them. Damn.
We heard that, Norma.
Sit here and see if you can see it.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Your sound's coming, but your camera's not coming through.
Okay.
Well, we can talk to you anyway. So
We just talked to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk anyway.
All right. I'm trying to think. We was talking. I was mentioning while you guys were off there, we're trying to figure this out. That you guys travel all over the country. I know I see you everywhere I go, and you've been up to the Congress, clear out to Oklahoma and California. How many miles you think you ran showing ducks and chickens in the last few years?
There's no telling, because like I say, I've been just about to every state there is showing. Just a few very far west that I haven't, but we've been Oklahoma, Nebraska.
I'm gonna say you've been all around. I know because I usually run into you somewhere, and I think, man. Well, I guess we should mention at one time Danny was the manager out at Superior Farm, so you had that little stint of poultry breeding and exhibition stuff out there too. You can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we were out there for a couple of years. We had over 15,000 exhibition birds, just about every breeding variety of landfowl and waterfowl that's in the standard we had there.
Yeah, that was an amazing thing. I kind of hated to see it go away, but it's a tough business, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I got to be a stringman for a couple of shows. We showed 890 at the Tulsa State Fair out there, and that was just chickens. And we showed at the Arkansas State Fair and showed almost 500 waterfowl.
Wow.
Good deal. Yeah, that was something. The whole logistics of trying to manage all that would scare me. Mike said at the beginning we stopped at there you are. We see you.
I'm back now.
We stopped at Dustin Drake, so I guess we can say this now, can we, Mike?
Yeah.
Dustin had bought the Eagle's Nest hatchery here in Ohio, and he's in the process of moving that down to his farm and outside of Mount Gilead, and he's building new buildings and a hatchery and like a little storefront, and just amazes me. A young guy's got all that ambition, so. And then we got to go look at all the flocks. So not only did he have a lot of birds himself, but he inherited Karcher's show geese and some of the show. I know Dick Horstman had sold him some birds and some of the show flocks. So he's got I'm looking forward to seeing it because not only will he do the commercial birds, but he's also going to put a little exhibition poultry out there for sale too. So. I think the hobby desperately needs that again because since that closed and Hallbacks went down many years ago.
Just a few people doing a few, but nothing of any numbers or any.
No.
And quality is the other thing. So
right.
I've seen some of the waterfowl because we judge them at the fairs. I think Eagle's Nest supplies about every fair in Ohio, and I've seen some of their Palms, Emdens. What else they have there? Mike Pilgrims. I think
Pilgrims,
they have pretty nice.
China's, yeah. I think everything except, I don't know, almost everything from heavies.
Well, I think Dustin had Toulouse and African, so
he did.
So he's a buddy of ours. We're looking forward to him getting going and seeing what happens over there. And I think he starts up the end of the year, so he wanted to be ready for the first part of December because I guess they've got orders, so. They only get that hatchery business. They only get about 4 or 5 weeks off in October before they start right back up in November. So
yeah, they have to start Going
And he does a ton of broilers and meat turkeys and,
Yeah.
and
I'll be over
hybrid
there.
layers.
I'll be over there a lot. It won't be too long, and we'll have videos of that too. And in fact, I'll do a video next Tuesday over there that we can put up. Just there's buildings and there's all concrete in them now. All that's done, and the plumbing and electrical it's all it's
Coming
a process, right? It's all coming together. But to watch those guys build,
Yeah, it's all Amish.
I mean, 220 foot long by 60 wide. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it looks about like he's got one building is going to be for his waterfowl breeder and one for his chicken breeder. And that's not counting the kind of what he already has. Because I mean, he had a pretty substantial operation going before he decided to do this hatchery thing. So we're looking forward to seeing that. And we'll have more on that and we'll get him on here because I think when he gets it going, he's going to have a website and be very more the problem with the current hatchery, the folks are getting older. They're not very high tech and websites and things like that. So he's going to bring that to the table. And I think he's going to get really busy.
Yeah.
Danny, tell us about the Florida Sunshine Classic. God, I've been going down there. I think we had a Rhode Island Red National there in the 90s. And one of my favorite shows, and you guys have ran that a long time. So give us
we took it over about 1990, I think, somewhere right along in there, and have been doing it now for 35 years, I guess, somewhere in there.
I know that's
But,
had lots of good shows down there, and it's always our treat to get the hell out of winter for a few days, anyways, and go to eat at Sonny's Barbecue. That's why.
I mean, there's been a lot of the major breeders through the years have shown down here and been here, and
it's a nice. I always say it's a nice, friendly show. I know one time back in the 90s, Bill Wolf and I both testified. It was freezing rain, and he said that's the coldest. We weren't dressed for it. He goes, that's the coldest we've ever been at a chicken show, and we've been at some cold ones. And it was and we're in Florida. That wind was blowing through that door, and it was just chilly. And then I've been down there sometimes when it was we was judging. It was so hot you couldn't touch the wall on the south side of the building. So it's varying weather.
You never know what it's going to do. I mean, we can have. People don't realize how cold it can get in Florida at times,
Yeah. Well, especially there, and you've got basically you're kind of there in the middle of that, and you get that breeze, even though the ocean is.
It's a piece away, but yeah, you get
piece away. But when that moist air comes over and it's like 35 degrees, oh,
yeah,
man, it'll make your teeth chatter.
Yeah, that humidity in there. I mean, it can be in the 40s, and you'll think you're in the 20s.
Yep.
In a drier climate,
Yep, that's exactly true. And I have found out that 90% humidity in Florida and 90% humidity here in Ohio, I don't give a shit what that percentage is. They ain't the same. I mean, between your place and you're not that far from my brother and sister-in-laws, because we're always right there in that corner of Georgia where if you got a good enough arm, you could throw a ball and hit Florida, you throw a ball to hit Alabama. And good Lord, when it says it's 90 degrees, it feels like 109,000 degrees to a rather substantial sized feller. So yeah, the humidity is something else. So the Sunshine Classic, that's an independent fairgrounds, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I think because I don't know, we've been there. So it's been a couple years since we've been there, but that's always something we look forward to. Always had a really good
Got
time.
walled out one year for AI, which seems to be the theme, but and then I think last year we were booked up at the Congress and a couple other places in January. So hopefully we'll get back down there because it's an enjoyable time and we have a lot of fun down there. That's for sure.
Well, we try to make it a fun show. It's not to try to make it where everybody has a good time.
Yep. You cook and feed us well, and
The food's very good. The
we've
food
judged
is,
it a few times, and we all go out to eat Saturday and have a good time and chat, and then rest up for that long drive home on Sunday. But if anybody is ever thinking about going to a good show in Florida, that we'd highly recommend this one. And I suppose we'll see you in Arkansas too, because you guys coming out. I know Norman's going to be there.
Yep, we'll be in Arkansas and
back to Columbus.
Go to Portage in a couple of weeks and
we'll see you in Portage.
Judge there. And
no, we won't.
Are we at Portage? No, we're not in Portage. We're at Beaver Dam.
Yeah, we're at the other one. So Portage is the international. They got a lot of birds. So I know they added a couple judges.
Yeah, they're up to almost 4,000 birds.
Yep, they called, and it just so happened that was, I tell everybody that they got to get their judges a couple of years out, because we booked that Beaver Dam show 2 years ago, and October is just a mess anymore with all the shows that are going, and evidently not enough folks to judge them. So,
well, that's it. I mean, and it's getting more expensive for judges to go too. I mean, y'all know that as well, and the clubs can't afford a whole lot. And
Michael will have to tell you about
they're doing good.
Yeah, Michael will have to tell you about the bargain hotel we got in Bath. So I hadn't been in a rough one in a while. This one was pretty rough. So,
and now the room itself was pretty damn nice.
And all the online stuff looked really good, but when we pulled up, it was pretty.
We pulled up there, and I looked at him and thought, and I said, "What the hell did you just get us into?" Then we looked across the street, and that one was open, and it had windows gone, and there was plywood up, and I said, "Well, I guess we're better than the
better off there." Anyway.
That's right. But it was clean. The parking lot was a little shaky. Hanging around the outside of the building is a little shaky. But once you locked that door, everything was all right.
We were good for the night, anyways. Yeah.
I didn't go out to smoke, Danny. Neither one of us. We went upstairs. It was over. We're just going to throw a nicotine fit. It ain't going nowhere.
We were kind of spoiled because we come from the Casablanca up there in Hamilton. So we come from a really good hotel down to one that's pretty lower on the spectrum.
On the sketchy side there.
A little bit. It was questionable. Let's just say that. Just questionable.
If the wife would have been along, we wouldn't have stayed there. I know that one.
It didn't matter what kind of a deal we got in Expedia, we wouldn't have been there.
Yeah,
no, we wouldn't have been there.
I understand that.
Yeah. So you're judging Portage.
Portage.
You're being, of course, you're being Fayetteville.
Judging there.
Are you making it up for Greenville this year, the Dayton show?
Yep. I'm actually going to be able to show a few birds there, and I'm judging juniors there.
Oh, good deal,
that's a good deal.
That's the IWBA National. So
yeah,
I haven't heard her final numbers, and we think when you was off, we talked. Moon City's got 1,300, and I think they got 90 geese. So her waterfowl numbers are way up, and I told her it's probably because of what's good. They're getting the warm up before a couple of weeks down to Greenville, but that'll be something to see. Hopefully I get to see some good rowans, Danny. They're just few and far between anymore.
They are. There's a few guys that are working on some that the pictures they've sent me they're coming along. I think in another year or two, we might start seeing a few again.
Good deal, because Louie and I always look them over and we both shake our heads. I thought, I don't know where they all went. I know what I had. I sold a ton of rowans. Everybody wanted them. And then all of a sudden, nobody wanted them anymore. And I don't think Dick has them anymore either.
No, I think he got rid of them. And like I say, there's just very few actual breeders of them. They're.
Yeah, Jeannie Dorflin, I think she's out of them. And she supplied a lot of people. So hopefully I get to see some there.
It's the same as Ellsbury's. They've always been my favorite heavy duck. I don't know why, but I've always really liked the Ellsbury's and Rowans too. But you don't hardly ever see the Ellsbury's anymore. It wasn't for Pekins and look at me.
Muscovies.
Yeah, the Well, I braid laps at least once an episode, folks. There it is. If you had the 49 minutes and 49 seconds in your pool when Mike goes, you won. Anyway, but if it wasn't for those two, I mean, the heavy ducks, there'd only be 2 or 3 at a show, if that. Sometimes it seems.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know why that is. I mean, the other ones are no bigger or any more trouble than the Pekins or the Muscovies, except I think that the Pekins and the Muscovies, if you're dressing ducks, well, there you go.
Yeah. A little better meat conversion, that's for sure.
Yep.
Because I ate a few Rowans, and that's pretty tough chew. They're probably not the best meat duck in the world.
No, they're not as good as some of the others anyway, I don't believe.
I always to me, that's the most beautiful duck running in the yard. And when I finally got out of them, I had a friend that had a 5-acre pond and he wanted some ducks. And I took them Rowans out there, and those were, he said, those are the most beautiful ducks I ever seen. And they were swimming out on that pond and getting in and out. He had like a big sandy beach, and they'd come up that beach and they looked like a submarine coming out of the water because they're that big old keel coming up out of there. So I always liked just to watch them.
Yeah, they were very interesting. I mean, like with Owlsbury's, I've had them before too. And back when they had the Lucasville show, there was about 4 or 5 of us got together and said we wanted to have a good Owlsbury show there. So we all showed some, and we had over 100 Owlsbury's, which I think has been about the biggest class of Owlsbury's in years.
Yeah, I think I was there. Yep, that's the show I missed. That we always had a good time.
Yep, that was another. It was a good fun show.
Yep.
Everybody knew where I was at on Memorial Day, and everybody knew where I was at the first weekend of October. So nobody asked to judge. Nobody asked if we're getting married or none of that stuff, because I was definitely going to be in Lucasville those 2 weekends.
Yep. It was fun. I think the reason it was fun, the birds are really good, but the reason it was fun is it's the same as we said about why we like coming to your show. It's just the people. You just relax. You show your birds. There's a lot of talking and eating, and just that's what makes shows fun.
Yeah, it's not so much the cutthroat or who's winning or what. It's just let's just visit and have a good time.
Exactly. And if you happen to win, yeehaw! And if you don't happen to win, we still had a really, really good time.
Good time.
Yeah, and we've tried to convey that on every one of these we do. Whether we're getting through to folks, I don't know, but we're going to keep on doing it.
Yeah, that's a question. Good question for Danny. So since you started when you were 17, how's that transition been? Because I started in 72, so I remember a little bit what it was like. It was kind of an old man's hobby, and there wasn't a lot of kids. There wasn't a lot of women, and now we've transitioned today. So what do you think about this one day? We went from the 2-3 day shows to this one day double show thing, and I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
Well, I think my opinion is probably about the same as yours. I really don't like it. I mean, the camaraderie of the shows has gone away. It's all rush, jump in, and you see people go in. Well, I've got to get home, and they're not but an hour away, and they're cooping out before the show's even finished judging, even on a one-day show.
It's a lot more fast-paced, I guess. Well, the biggest thing I think that's why we do this. There's no learning anymore. That's where we learned was at those shows. And you only got a few chances a year to go ask your questions and do your thing and get birds. We didn't ship birds like that back then. You had to go to the shows and pick them up or have somebody get them for you.
Yeah.
So I think that we've lost a lot of that. So hopefully some of these videos will help get some more learning in. And the people definitely want it, because I've had people in Canada, I had people in New York come up and talk to me that I don't know, that are listening to it regularly, and they enjoy all the different subjects and topics. And I said, and a lot of them say this is just like being at a chicken show. I said, well, that's kind of what we want it to be, because that's where we learned all this stuff, and Probably
Well, I mean,
good
that's
things
it.
and bad
We
things.
used to go into somebody's hotel room and motel room, and we'd sit there half the night. And
Shoot the shit.
as a kid, I would just sit there and listen and absorb
Yes.
what these old master breeders were saying at the time, and how to do
Yep.
things.
We had I think I talked a couple episodes ago, but I had found that DVD from '98 in Columbus, and I know you were there, but I got about half teary eyed because I seen Louis Straight, Bill Bowman, all them old guys that George Schruffler, we used to talk to all the time in that video. But yeah, that was the same deal then. I think that was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show, and we had a party Thursday night, a party Friday night, and Saturday night. Yeah. And Neil Grassball and I both said we had to go home and sober up for a week because we had too much fun. But
well, I mean,
that's the way it was.
Those, you cooped in on Thursday, and they started judging on Friday morning, and judged all day Friday and all day Saturday.
Yep. And you spent Thursday, so that gave everybody an opportunity. You went out and ate. Yeah, you talked at the motel. You talked there. I mean, you pull up a chair. I mean, how many times? Well, at your show, at Tom's show, when you're up to Dayton, they would just pull up chairs and just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit and talk. And it doesn't always have to be chicken. It gets to chickens or ducks or geese. Well, I mean, it's everything. It's instead of reading the words on the screen, it's talking. Because it's amazing what you can come up with that clicks, and it has not a damn thing with anything you raise. Or someone says, I heard, so you can work through problems. I think it's something that's sorely missed in our game. And well, until we're not here no more, we're sure the hell try to keep it going, because that's what makes the whole thing worthwhile. It's not that ribbon, it's not that trophy. Those are all great. We go to win, but it's everything else that goes with it.
I mean, to me, it's more the friendship in it.
Yes.
Than yes, I'm always going to have birds, whether I show them or not. I'm always going to have some. I mean, I've had them since I was 6 years old, so
right.
I'm going to always have some as long as I'm able to take care of them. But it's just part of my life, I guess you could say. I mean,
it gets to be I've threatened a couple times to quit, but I never do. And even after the mink have wiped me out and all the bad diseases we had back in the days, and it seems like you always jump right back in. But I would miss the people. I think I probably don't enjoy judging as much as I did when I first started, but I do enjoy talking to the people, and I do like to talk to these new people because I think they need it. They're always so intimidated by us because they're not used to the hobby, and I don't think they realize this is a little easier species to show. We're not all standoffish and
it's not like some of the dog shows and shows and
even rabbit shows when we did that when Emily was younger. This is just a more fun. Even my pigeon shows, the pigeon shows are no fun compared to a chicken show. They're in a big hurry to get in there and get out as well. And same way with rabbits. So it always seemed like we just had a better weekend. And it's my only hobby. So when I take a week off to go do it, that's what I want to do. Yeah. And I don't want to be in a hurry. So
no, I think that's the thing. When you talk about don't enjoy judging as much as you used to, I do, but it's not just the looking at the birds. It's all this other stuff now that goes with it. If I can't show them because we're judging, I mean, that's why we get most places we go, we're there the night before, right? And it's because the night before, and if it's a one-day show, if we're not there the night before, we don't have a freaking clue of anything. How many shows have you judged, Danny, and you go home and someone says, who won? And you'll say, I don't have a clue because the people are just gone.
Yeah.
And you look up and you think, now, somewhere like Columbus, it's easy not to see everybody that's there because there's so many people.
So many people and so big and spread out. But
right. But if you go to somewhere and there's 650 or 800 birds, it's like well, I should have saw them, but no, you start at 9, and hopefully you're done by 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. But there's only usually 2 of you, 3 of you, or 4 of you. You have lunch, and unless you see them then, you don't have a clue who was there.
Right. Because all you're doing is judging, and by the time you're done, half of them's cooped out and gone.
Oh, yeah. Yep, and that always really irritates me. It's funny that when we're out and we're judging wherever we go, sometimes shit at 17 hours from home, but on the way home, that nearest talkative, even about the birds you had, because there's like it's a letdown because I wonder if so and so was there. I wish I'd have seen. I wanted to talk to. Well, hell, you're in such a hurry. Even if you're taking your time judging, you're still in a hurry because you're 17 hours from home in a one-day show.
Right. You want to get started back.
At least part way back.
So
before
I guess
you do something.
That's the bad change. What are some good changes that you think we've got now compared to way back when? I think our judging is better in my mind. I don't know about you.
I think a lot of it is. I mean, I think there's a lot of younger judges coming up that are going to be very good and seem to be conscientious about what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they'll keep going.
When I was starting out, I think it was all old men, and it was all old men that shouldn't have been judging. I think is how to put it. If you remember, they were all, and I think Jeff mentioned when he was on, they were like professional judges. That's all they did.
Yeah.
Most of them didn't have birds anymore. They just went from show to show to show to show. And he made a comment that I think will stick with me as long as I'm around. He said those judges back then, and he mentioned John Wonderlich, but they could change what was liked in a breed. I don't see that no more. I don't think maybe it's because we don't do as many as what they did. Because there was lots of times I had the same judge every show I went. It got kind of boring. Now you very rarely see that, but I don't see them changing in the trends that some of the breeding trends that used to be. I just don't see that as much now.
No, it's not as much. I mean, there's still some of it, but it's not as bad as it was at one time there. I mean, like you say, I'll go to shows and like you say, you'd have the same judge
every show,
4 or 5 shows, Boom,
you pretty much knew how you were going to place before they ever got to them again. And I know a lot of times Wilbur Stauffer probably was on a first name basis with my birds because I think one year he judged them like 6 shows in a row. So I think that's good. I think we're getting a lot of younger ones in, even in the apprenticeship program that I think are going to be good because they seem to be committed. Jeff made the comment, all these people have licenses and they never judge. I said, well, hopefully these ones that we're getting, the new ones coming up, we've been kind of grooming them and giving them some hints, and hopefully they'll go out and judge. So.
Some of them will. I mean, there was an old saying from years ago that 10% of the judges judge 90% of the shows, and that's not quite as bad now, but it's the way it was for a lot of years.
And it's still it's close.
It's close, yes. It's still close to that. I mean, it's.
Yep. Well, the thing is, it's well, you're talking about like Wilbur. I remember one time I went to when the ABA National was in the Birmingham Club in Birmingham.
Oh yeah, the old Alabama Bantam Club.
Yeah.
And we went down there, and guess who judged the coaches? Wilbur.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and he said, "Did you think you could escape me?" I said, "Evidently not, Wilbur. I just gave up."
Wilbur didn't get his license till later in life.
Oh yeah, he was alone.
He was probably maybe 40s, early 50s before he started judging because he was too busy running the string, and then he worked on the dairy farm there, I think for his brother or sister when he was off the circuit. So
the rest of the time, yeah.
I remember when he first started judging, I always enjoyed him judging because him and Wilbur and Harry knew about every damn thing there was in the standard, and you couldn't fool them. There were some other people that if they got into something oddball, they had some troubles, but those two always knew what they were or had an idea.
had pretty much seen everything that was out
Yep.
there, you know, and
What
I
are
mean-
some? What were some of your favorite judges back in the day, Danny?
oh well, Wilbur was one of my top ones along the time, and let's see who else in there. My mind's gone blank now of who else in there, but there was a lot of good ones through the years.
Mm-hmm.
I had Ralph Beamer from Canada I enjoyed having him.
Did you ever run into Choice Culver much? Mike and I talked about him because he was around here when we were kids, and he was always our waterfowl guy here.
Well, I mean, I met him a couple of times, but he was the time I was into it and going to shows, he was pretty well out of it. Of course,
Yeah, he was up there. I think he was in his late 90s when he died. We always laughed because he was so short that he could look a runner duck in the eye.
yeah,
He would bend over a runner, and he always loved Aylesbury ducks and Chinas. And we were talking with Curtis Oakes last week at Bath, and because Curtis won champion of reserve goose on 2 Chinas, which don't happen much. And we went and looked at them. They were very nice, and that was kind of my goose back in the day too. So he always said that Choice said they had to be on their tippy toes, and yep, he liked them real short in the body. And the curves and all. He would sit there and describe it every time you seen him. So he was one of my favorites back in those days. And the guy from Wisconsin, Mike, Andy Armbruster, remember him?
I knew the name. I never did know him, but
he was a good waterfowl judge.
Yeah.
I think that's all he judged. I don't think he did chickens.
and I like John Kreiner from Pennsylvania too.
Yeah. There's one that knew every
He
single
knew
breed.
everything. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
So did Henry K. Miller. There was another one. I forgot about him. Yep.
yeah.
Well, Henry was a little more boisterous than John and Bruno. He'd come in and tell you just what he thought.
Yeah. He carried that stick with him, that dowel rod.
Old dowel rod. He'd go beat them goose cages with. They always said, "We got to get these Blessedy Blake chickens out so I can see what's wrong with them."
Yeah.
So that's my reminiscence. We got a lot of good ones working now. I know the waterfowl show will be a big one down there, and they got a good lineup for that. So you'll get the show and look over the cages when you're not doing juniors. But I think she'll have a ton of juniors too. So
Yeah, I'm sure the juniors are going to be pretty strong there, and
I'll
They
bet
usually
there'll be several hundred call ducks. Anyways, as I know. I think they had 800 in the open last time. They had the call duck thing there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll be in masses because they seem to be hot right now.
yeah, I'm sure they'll have 500 or 600 call ducks there. So
And the Welsh Harlequins are really picking up runners. Mike had a big class. We have to ask Mike about how he judged runners in Canada. He didn't do them in a ring.
You know why he thinks it's funny? Because his ass didn't have to do the waterfowl. That's why he thinks it's funny. So Danny, they had me a run-in. Well, I may never forgive Beamer for this, but so they have a run-in shed. A really pretty 12 by 15 run-in shed. Yeah, there was no rings. It was this fat boy
chasing them down in there.
chase him down in the shed. Yeah, it's pretty easy judging, but man, catch yourself with them. Well, they'll be in that corner. I said, yeah, but not for long. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It didn't seem as enjoyable, but when I got done, it was a lot of fun because I survived.
You laugh because at 9 o'clock you had to go to the bathroom, and they have these outhouses, little porta potties. And it was a pretty big fair up there, and they were lined up to go, and he couldn't go. And then they wanted to do runners in the ring, so he's in there. I don't think he got to go to the bathroom till noon. So
It was 11. It was 11:30, and when I was out there, it wasn't so bad but if you can imagine, the Canadian crew, and some of them I didn't even know, but of course, if they know that much, I had this audience behind me. Oh, it was fun. All the, those snickers and comments and this and that. It was interesting. I think I had 15 young white drakes. But before it was over, I got everything out but 5, and then I went with 5. It's hard to They look like butter churning.
Yeah, they would go in a circle.
Well, I judged in Australia one time when we went down there, and they had me do modern bantams in Australia. And the show that we were at, there was over 400 modern bantams that I did. Of course, all their cages, just have a wire front. And it's all solid.
Yeah,
sides
solid
and
sides.
Mm-hmm. So I was on the outside row, and all these old guys, they got behind me, just pull up their chairs behind me and sitting there watching me. So I said, well, I got me a good audience, so I go down that whole double row there. I said, well, I'm going around the corner now and getting the other aisle, and it's kind of tight, in between the rows there. It wasn't that wide. So I said, well, at least I'll get away from them. No, they all just brought the chairs right on in there with you. And just
They wasn't even going to cage hang. They were going to sit.
No, they just sat there. They didn't just hang over there. They were all in their chairs and sitting there watching you the whole time.
Oh, that was the thing about the fair up there was it was a very busy fair, and they don't rope anything off. But we didn't. I mean, there was times it would take a long time to judge a class because as you're looking,
people coming through there,
this way, and then they're coming behind you, and there was more kids strollers than I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah,
all coming right down, doubles,
and
triples. Oh yeah, pushing them. It's like, well, here's the front of the stroller. It's like, damn, how many kids you got in there? Run all through. Yeah, but it was neat. It had a lot of. Well, it was a chicken show, man. That was.
There you go.
Mean, it beats me in a lot of places. So
yeah,
we had a really, really good time, and then we had the Friday night. We got up there early enough and met a couple of them. Met us at the watering hole there, and we shot the bull for a little bit. It was a very nice. It was windier than hell there.
Yeah, there was really nice wind. Then.
Yeah, so it was a good time, and then I'll be up there for the OPB to run the ABA tables, the Canadian Nationals. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you there too.
Yeah. See, I'm going to see him, Matt. You're staying home.
Yeah, I'm staying home that weekend. I've had my annual trip to Canada, I think. So
there you go.
All right, Mike, you got any more questions for Danny when we got him on here? What's your number one thing, as we get this a lot from people, for a new person starting out? What's your top one line advice thing for them?
If you could give them one bit of advice, what would that be?
Start with as good a birds as you can possibly afford to start with.
Yep.
And
yep.
As many as you can out of those.
Right. It doesn't mean you have to buy a whole bunch of them. Get the very best you can get.
Yep. I agree.
I'd rather see you get one good trio or 2 trios or something. And
I will add to that.
Yep.
Go to a show and talk to somebody and get some advice there too. Don't do it online.
No, definitely don't do it online.
Because we see too many people getting cheated, and I always tell them, you could have just went to a show and probably saved yourself a whole lot of money and got the real deal on some of this. So
you can see that's a good one. See what you're actually getting then instead of the other stuff.
And talk to people that, I mean, you have to go to many shows and you can figure out in your area who does win, or when a judge comes in, you're watching, or you've got some knowledge of how many shows. Walk up and ask, hey, if you were looking to get into whatever, just ask the judge, hey, if you decided you wanted to get, who would you try first?
Right.
To get first. You don't have to ask for recommendations and who has the best. Well, hell, who knows has the best? It's all according to the time of year. But when you say, who would you go to? And it's us three who judge a lot of shows and have judged and know people forever. I mean, if it was us, we would ask so-and-so first and see if you can get him. If he has it.
From them or what,
Right.
I mean, it's like, all right, when I was still in high school, they had all Cornish show in North Carolina.
Yep.
Hickory up there, same as they used to have the Old English Jamboree up there. But my grandfather was still alive then, and he went up there with me. And one of the guys that was there showing from South Carolina, they had traded Cornish back and forth for 40 years. Never had met. They always corresponded with letters or talked on the phone a little bit, to describe what they wanted and say, yeah, I think I can help you with that. So they would ship that back then. They could ship on the train, and they would box it up and ship it on the freight train and go. But they had never had met in person. But they traded birds for almost 40 years.
Wow.
Until that time. But
I always tell everybody too, when you said that, get the best trio you can buy if that's all you can afford. Ask that breeder to get you a trio you can breed from.
Yes.
Don't go up to him and tell him you want the
number 111 out of the show.
Right.
Yes. I think that's the mistake they all make. They think that just I can go buy the winners. You can't.
Yeah.
You're better off to ask that. And you will impress the breeder more in my mind. If I go to Danny and tell him I want some Muscovies to race something with, I'm not looking for just show birds. I want something that's going to breed better. It impresses the breeder, number one. Number two, they will set you up with something that's going to do that. And they could give you 3 show birds. You may never, ever raise anything out of them too. So
or nothing worth a shit.
Exactly. I mean, there's been people here and they see what I'm breeding out of, and they say, I don't know how you're doing what you're doing, but I know what goes. And
that's what you'd like to say. I know you don't, but I do. You'll see in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important. And when you talked about trios, I had somebody ask me, and they said about, they bought a trio. How many times people have gotten trios, and then guess what dies?
Yes, I mean, I was fixing to say that, Mike.
2 pair. I think 2 pair.
2 pair or 2 males and 3 females. If you can get them is a very good way to start. Then you kind of got 2 groups there that you can go with.
Exactly.
You can build your line from there.
Right.
Well, if it's somebody far away, you see them at Columbus, and they're from where? Montana, and you buy a trio or a pair. Well, if one of them dies, you're out.
You're out.
Yep.
So kind of keep that in mind. So maybe that whatever it is extra for a bird, that might be in the long run.
It might keep you going or keep you
exactly
where you have the next year.
Yep, that's the safest way to go if you're interested in breeding birds. Now, if you just want show birds, hell, you're on your own. Just buy whatever you want to buy, give them whatever you want. Go out and show it till it dies, and then you got to go buy another one, which now that happens. But I'm just saying, if you want to be a breeder, man, start with 2 males if you can.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep. And never sell yourself down to, because someone offers you whatever for this, and you've got 2 or 3. Why do you ever can if you lost what you kept? Can you keep going? Can you keep improving? I don't care how many years you've done it.
It only takes getting wiped out a couple times. Like I said, mink have done it to me twice, to where you always want to have those birds farmed out or have somebody you can go get something back if you need it. Because if you get all, like the old proverbial saying, you get all the eggs in one basket and you drop that basket, you're in trouble. And I've been there and I've had to start over, and that's not fun. So I always recommend that to make sure you've got stuff where you can go back and get something. You probably know that too, Danny. If you needed to get something, you got people you can go back to pick something up if you had to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few people around that, we trade birds back and forth every couple of years, and there's never usually any money changes hands. Just, if they need something, they get it. And I know if I need something, I can get something.
Yep. And I think that's important, and I think people need to learn that besides the talking part, in the camaraderie. But, there's quite a few that in the coachings and bantams and a couple 3 in large fowl that have started off as a customer that have stuck, and now they're a trusted source if something happens.
Right.
And we will trade male birds, whatever they need. If I got it, they can have it. Because and the same thing, if I need something or something happens, I don't have to wonder. I just pick up the phone and say, hey, do you have an extra? Yep, I got what you're looking. Well, then you're safe. And that's all, because if everything goes to hell and you've hoarded, or in a lot of these, well, I should say, in some people, it's all about the money, and they basically, that's all they care about. When they're out, then they better keep some of that money, because they will have to buy their way back in and take all that time to do it again.
Yep.
So it's all about helping each other when you come right down to it. It doesn't matter who wins. If you're friends before, you can want to whip them. I mean, you want to win. You never know not to win. But if you don't win, it really makes absolutely no freaking difference. Because if you was friends before, then you're friends after, and be happy for the people you know that won.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's the whole thing.
Any tips on raising Muscovy, since that's been a hot topic, Dave? what's the 5 easy steps to getting started with Muscovy? And usually it's buying a pair and just letting them loose, but maybe you've got some better advice than I have, since it's something I've never had, is Muscovy.
I mean, I let them, the hens set and hatch their own, but then I pick up the babies. Usually I'll have have several hens that'll hatch within a day or so of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take all those ducklings and give them to one hen. So she may have 45 or 50 ducklings under one hen, and I'll keep them pinned up until they start feathering a little bit, because if you leave them on the yard, stuff catches them, and they're notorious for walking the babies to death, because they'll go from one spot to another. I mean, they'll walk several miles a day, going around, and they just wear those babies out.
Yep.
But
and a Muscovy, I mean, they can have a shitload of baby ducklings with them. I mean, they're notorious. If they've got 25 eggs, you may end up with 25 ducks.
I mean, it's the really true exhibition ones don't usually have that many. I mean, usually 10 or 12 is what their clutch will be, but
right.
I mean, I have seen, especially with young pullets, a lot of times they'll have 20 or 25 eggs in there, and they'll come off with close to that.
Yep. Yeah, they're pretty amazing. And they take longer to hatch, right, Danny?
Right. Yeah, they take an extra week, so they're like 35 days to hatch.
Yep. So if you're interested in Muscovies, remember, they're ducks, but they're not ducks like any other duck.
No, they're different. They're the only one that's not related to the mallards, or where everything else came out of mallards, basically, or that family.
They're a whole different species.
And when you get a hold of one, you got something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially those male birds. I've had more of them get a hold of me than I've got a hold of a few times.
No, you definitely have to. It's not a one-handed thing. You got to use both hands in there.
No, you don't walk around with them like you do. No, don't try that. Now, you don't walk around just holding them by the head and they ain't going to hurt you.
Nope.
They will beat you to death.
You get them by one wing, and they're going to spin around on you and
I get you.
a bear with their claws coming out,
Yeah. You won't do that again.
No.
Or you shouldn't. I mean, unless you're just real dumb.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Had him shred my shirt. It's right down I used to always get to haul Craig Schaefer's around for him because he wouldn't go to a show or whatever. And I think he laughed me rustling them Muscovy drakes in and out of them dog carriers.
Be picking them up like this.
They'll make you shake. I know. Even if you got them with both hands, they'll shake your fillings loose.
Bounce you around some.
Oh yeah. That's for sure. And then, I mean, the ducks they can be a little bit, but of course they don't weigh what those big drakes weigh.
No, they're about half of what the drakes are, so they're
Yeah.
not a little easier to handle, but they can still get you if you don't show a little respect to them.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. But if you handle the ducks first, you'll think, well, this ain't so bad.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
catch that big 3-foot long thing in there, that big black cobra thing. Go hiss him out of there. See how you feel.
I mean, like you say, when I used to do the ruins, I mean, I would carry 3 or 4 of them at one time, you know, and you don't do that with Muscovies.
I always laughed. I used to have to kick the Roans out of the way to feed them. They wasn't wild, and that's their problem. They were probably too tame, but they were a whole different thing than a Muscovy. That's for sure. All right, Mikey. I think we got everything we asked. I can't think of no more things to ask, Danny. And we thank Norma for letting you come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's been enjoyable.
Yep. And we'll look for you in, is that 3 weeks? This weekend. Yeah, I think 3 weekends. 2 weekends from, I don't know. I'll see you in a couple weeks, Danny.
Yeah,
2 weekends is Greenville.
I'll look for my hugs. I go to hug Norma and Danny interrupts me, but that's okay. I'll hug them both.
You only get a hug if you bring her coffee.
Well, I'm pretty damn good at that. I know that routine. I know why I get to judge down there quite often is because I remember who gets what when I go to the show.
There you go.
So,
when you go to Duncan's, yeah.
oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
thanks, Danny. I really appreciate it. It's good to see
thank
you.
everybody again. And wrap it up.
And I look forward to seeing you in person. And well, we'll just have us a time like we always do when we see you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Tell Norma we said hi. Hi, Norma. All right. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.